This winter, one man to save the world. Fight between good and evil. Earth as we know it will never be the same.
Okay, later today we're having a protest outside of the HCB building near the free speech zone to protest Milo Yiannopoulos, who is a racist, misogynist, who hates trans people.
Who is this? Oh shit, they are coming. Social justice warriors are everywhere. Save yourselves.
Everyone, today we're going to be tackling what is one of the most fundamental yet one of the most demanding drawing exercises that any aspiring artist may undertake. We're going to be sketching the female nude today, but I'm going to ask you not to focus on portraiture so much at this point. Just focus on lines and shadow and form, okay? Sylvia, if you please.
Hey!
Yes.
Excuse me, Mr. Dwyer, but I took this class to learn how to sketch, not to ogle some poor female nude.
Oh, well, this isn't about ogling. No, we're just going to observe line and shadow and form.
And we're going to use economic repression to once again exploit a woman's body.
Well, I don't think that's what we're doing here.
No?
No.
Excuse me, sister, are you being paid?
Yes.
I rest my case.
Well, of course she's being paid. She's a professional artist model. I see no reason why we shouldn't use her.
Use her? Use her? You know, I wish you could hear yourself, sir. Remember, language is a virus.
Well, I certainly didn't mean to infect anyone.
That's no excuse. Sexism in any context is never appropriate.
But what about our charcoal technique?
Don't change the subject here, sir. This class is a travesty. That poor woman child is just another victim of the patriarchy.
She is?
I am?
Hate crime. Hate crime.
Not only that, it is also a racist construct. This woman represents the same white image of beauty that has oppressed women for centuries.
Hate crime. Hate crime.
Where are the nude models of color?
The people of girth, the handicapable, the elderly.
The queer.
Well, I'm sorry, it's just naked, fat, black, crippled dykes are hard to find. I'm sorry I said that. I apologize.
You white male.
Stop trying to co-opt my black anger.
I'm just trying to understand your black anger. Show it to me again.
Shut up!
Thank you, I understand now.
Sir, you leave me only one alternative. I must walk out and call for a boycott of your classes.
Anybody who stays is obviously a racist.
Or a homophobe.
Shut up!
Well, you know, these issues are certainly valid, and we could have a discussion. Bye. Well, okay. I assume we have serious artists left. Sylvia, if you please.
Come on, take it off, baby. Come on, take it off.
No. Come on, out. Everyone out. Come on, out of here. Out. Come on, move it out. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry. I'm Sylvia. I'm just...
Hey, Clinton. Well, Hillary Clinton's proposal to accept tens of thousands of additional Syrian refugees could run taxpayers $403 billion in lifetime costs if it's implemented. Is the Democratic presidential nominee's plan a good idea for the country? Joining us now is Democratic strategist Demiki Konst. She's the host of The Filter on SiriusXM Progress. Demiki, it's great to see you this morning.
Good morning.
So importing a lot of Syrian refugees is one of those ideas that everyone we know is totally in favor of. Everyone in the press, everyone in politics, all the business community, everyone who's rich and well-educated and insulated from the effects of this policy is totally for it because it makes us all feel virtuous. Why don't you explain to me crisply why an unemployed machinist in Cleveland would be for this? What does he get out of this?
Well, it's actually quite simple. First thing, this is something that we've been doing for about 64 years. We're part of an international treaty that brings in refugees, and we actually bring in far fewer than most of the world, especially when it comes to Syrian refugees. You know, thinking about it in a really basic way, it takes the burden off of these other countries. The great thing about our country is that we are separated by an ocean, so they have to go through 5 screening agencies: the Department of Defense, State Department, Homeland Security, the UN, and one other that I forgot.
Okay, so I disagree with almost everything you said, but you still haven't answered my question, which is, why should the average American taxpayer who's not rich, who's not benefiting from the current status quo, see this as good for him or her?
Well, number one, it comes out cost neutral in the end. They're forced to reimburse their own flights. They have to take employment. They're heavily screened.
False. But leaving aside the falseness of what you said, why is it good? Why should the average person, the powerless person, the kind of person who's not for this, currently being lectured by the elites, why should that person be for this? What do Americans get out of this?
So what's going on right now is they don't have a firm screening process in Europe right now.
Are you sure about that?
Over little boats, and they can't screen them, and they're going through multiple countries. The EU does not have a handle on this. We are not accepting. It's a 36-month waiting period. We are not accepting it at the refugees at the rate that these countries are.
Well,
they're going through screening. And so what that does is it lessens the burden. When there's more screening coming from our country, it makes it a safer process.
So it makes this country safer to import Syrian refugees. That's what you're saying?
Well, when they're screened multiple times,
but it makes it safer than it is without them?
You know, if the visa problem is where we have the problem.
But why have any problem at all? Like, what is the point of this? I know it makes rich people feel virtuous and welcoming to bring in others and then shift the burden to ordinary Americans. But why is it good for those ordinary Americans? I'm still confused. Does the government exist on their behalf, right?
Because there is a problem in Europe right now, and they're coming through Europe without the screening. And so when you lessen that burden and they go through actual screening, we've never had a refugee, never had a terrorist come in through a refugee program. We had them through visa process, which is a problem. But the refugees...
So it's good for Germany, which destroyed its country by opening the borders. I get that. It's good for tons of other countries. I totally get that. But American taxpayers have got to be expected to care about their own country first, shouldn't they?
I understand the taxpayer argument, but they've actually done studies on this to show that it's neutral, because they take jobs, they have to take jobs, they have to pay taxes, they're reimbursing flight costs and a lot of the costs that you would think are part of the budget. So it ends up being cost neutral.
But we have massive unemployment in this country, massive.
I know, massive.
Our workforce participation rate is the lowest since the 70s. So why at a time when ordinary people who want to work can't find jobs, why would we be helping people from other countries get those jobs?
Well, that's a business problem. That has nothing to do.
That's
a tax
social and
well, when you
social
have
problem.
companies going overseas and settling overseas and taking jobs away from America, that's a problem as to
you just said the U.S. government is bringing people in and requiring them to get jobs that presumably some Americans would like. Why is that good for Americans?
You know, unfortunately, in a lot of these situations, they're low-level jobs like McDonald's, and you know, these are the types of jobs that they're getting that most Americans, especially educated Americans, which you know is a higher and higher rate every year, and those who are unemployed, are not taking. So that the jobs that we Americans are not taking anymore, or that we've left to younger people, or you know, people who are retirees. So it actually ends up being a cost.
So the black youth unemployment rate is like the highest in my lifetime. So you would say to them, sorry, it's going to a Syrian refugee.
I think you're jumping from one extreme to another, Tucker.
Seems related. But you've done a game job.
Thank you, Tucker. Without a voice.
It's great to see you. Even without a voice, you somehow have a voice. 2 conventions later.
In 1904, Theodore Roosevelt started a campaign to bring back the whipping post. And he wanted to bring it back as a punishment exclusively for men who beat their wives. And the reason he wanted to use the whipping post to punish men who beat their wives was because if a man was jailed for wife battering, his wife might suffer hunger or want. And if he was fined for wife battering, she might suffer hunger or want. Okay, but if he got 30 lashes at the public post, he could still go to work the next day, and he could still support her, right? Now, we have this idea that before feminism came along in the 60s and 70s, that domestic violence against women was completely socially acceptable. Now, I don't understand how one can come to that conclusion when the President of the United States wanted to bring back corporal punishment, which had been banned, right, in most states at that time, exclusively to punish men who batter their wives. And especially since the treatment in communities for men who were battered by their wives, of which there were many, and you can see friezes and artwork from the 1600s and the 1700s that show women battering their husbands. And the treatment that the community gave those men was either the skimmington ride, which was the practice of the community coming around the house at night and beating pots and pans and screaming and throwing things at the house to shame him for allowing himself to be beaten by his wife. Or they put him on a donkey backwards, holding its tail, and rode him around the town square and or strapped him to a cart and threw rotten fruit and vegetables at him to shame him for allowing his wife to beat him. Okay? And these things have been just quietly erased from modern scholarship and modern accounts of history, right? Back when we thought it was okay to beat your wife, right? When we thought it was okay to beat your wife, at least when it was extremely egregious, particularly egregious, we'd strap the guy to a whipping post and give him 30 lashes. When your wife was beating you, right, it was you that got punished by the community, right? So I don't know that feminism has a balanced perspective on any of these things. I really don't.
Wondering, as like a white male in this country, I don't want you to get, but like, you know, you guys have it better than a lot of everyone else.
You know who's the best
right?
in this country?
Who?
Indian American men. Have the highest median income.
Can I just ask you?
Oh, yeah, but your
okay, so as a white
incorrect.
male in this country, what do you have that you, like, what do you want that you don't have already?
I want our nation to enforce its laws.
And what are those laws that you want to enforce?
That legal immigrants are good and accepted, and we want legal immigrants.
Yeah.
If you break our laws and you come into our country illegally, that it's a crime and it's a problem. And in Texas, 30% of murders are committed by illegal immigrants. 80% of women, according to Huffington Post, who cross the border, are getting raped. You know, this is a magnet.
When are they getting raped?
During the border crossing.
During the border crossing by the coyotes that they're bringing them over?
Probably. Yeah.
Probably, or you don't know this for sure?
I don't know who's doing the rape. Somebody's doing the rape.
Do you consider Huffington Post to be like a valid and good source?
Well, it actually came from Amnesty International, is where it came from originally. So
okay.
I would consider Amnesty International to be reliable. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, look, you have a dangerous area. The border's very dangerous. There are criminals down there. There are coyotes who are very dangerous. There are other illegal immigrants who can be dangerous as well. And so, you know, these women are getting raped. 80% of them. This is, you know, girls as young as 13.
Yeah, but my question is,
so why don't we shut that valve off so that these women aren't in these dangerous situations?
How does building the wall help with rape in America? Because white women get raped. One in, I believe, 4 or 5 of my peers, myself included, will be sexually assaulted. That is true.
It's not true. I mean, that fact has been disproven multiple times.
That fact is true.
No, the 1 in 5.
That, I mean, it won't be necessarily vaginal to...
Have you looked inside the study? It's an exceptionally small sample size for only a handful of years.
It's not talking about, like, penis to vaginal sexual rape. It's talking about sexual harassment and sexual assault.
So sexual harassment. So
sexual harassment and sexual harassment.
Okay, so then be honest. Don't say it's going to be rape.
I didn't say it was going to be rape. I said there's going to be 1 in 5 women that you know, that I know, myself included, that could be sexually assaulted in their lifetime. Do you think that statistics is okay?
Harassment or assault? I mean, you're playing linguistic games with me here.
Harassment and assault.
You're playing games with me. Is it harassment or assault? Which is it? They're two different charges.
Things, yes, but as a male, my question is, why isn't this a relevant thing to you, though?
Sophia, what's the answer? Is it harassment or is it assault?
It's both. That's both
but the statistic
issue.
1 in 5
the statistic is assault.
Okay, assault.
Every single 99.99% of women will be sexually harassed, in my opinion. I've been sexually harassed countless times.
So most men, to be honest with you.
Okay, so then my question is like, why then do you want to portray a candidate who doesn't care and doesn't believe, who has been called out as grabbing a woman by the pussy, which is sexual?
Not if they consent to it.
The woman he was talking about did not consent to it. She was a married woman who said that she did not want that.
No, I mean, you're mixing it up. What he was talking about, the first woman going furniture shopping, he said that he moved on her and he tried to engage her, and she rejected him. He didn't then go and grab her. You know, he said that he stopped. You got to listen to the tape. You got to listen to the transcript. And be very careful with your facts, because if you don't have the right facts, you'll end up answering the wrong question. So.
Thanks for watching and all the likes and comments. Get in all the bitches with my 300 subscribers. Thanks, fuckers.